Good morning. So as promised, I'm in the F-22 and we are doing a VR video. Now you've probably already seen that the video is just unbearably choppy. There's aspects that go a little smoother, but unfortunately, for some reason, the recording was this choppy. Now my experience in the headset wasn't quite this bad. There was a lot more chop than I would like there to be for it to be comfortable. But overall, my screen didn't cut out, which was a nice first. My biggest issue was that I had a problem with the focal point or the depth of field. Like right here, I'm leaning way in because I literally cannot read the buttons and I cannot see what I'm doing. And then this person's head came through the cockpit. And then when I look out to the distance, anything that's up close to me is a bit blurry. And it never used to be this way before. So I'm not sure if there's a setting that changed or got changed in one of the updates, but it was really difficult to focus on things that are out in the distance. I'm sorry, for things that are up close to the plane. When anything is out in the distance, it seems to be within the focal range properly out to the infinity range and seems to be a lot more sharp and visible and viewable. So it was kind of funky. Once I got the airplane off the ground, everything that was kind of around me popped into focus a little better. So it was a little nicer once I was airborne, but it was very difficult to see things, and it kind of killed the immersion in the experience of it. But I did, once I got airborne here, absolutely love being in the F-22, having that massive open cockpit canopy above me, being able to freely turn my head and look at what was going on around me as everything whizzed by, check the wings, all that stuff. It was really nice to just be able to do that, lean closer to the canopy and all of that. The seating position, everything was great. Now, part of the fun of this flight was that I also wanted to test some of the maneuverability. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This airplane is incredibly easy to fly in its current version, especially in the the fighter jet flight model that's in the game. So, while I'm not doing anything crazy, I flew over to the Grand Canyon to dip in and kind of have a bit of fun doing not necessarily the Mach loop, but to blast down parts of the canyon. And overall, this experience was a lot of fun. Now, yes, it was still choppy. Yes, because now I was right up against the canyon walls, things were out of focus, but focus wasn't really the big issue that I saw here. I don't know why, but at the speed I was going, the texture streaming was lagging behind for some reason. Now I have a 120 megabit connection in both directions, so it was not my bandwidth that was causing the download issues here. But what essentially was happening was the multiple layers of textures and mapping, shaders, tessellation, all that stuff was taking a long time to apply. So like I would fly by something and I would see the first pass apply where suddenly the textures go from something that's miles away in the distance to something slightly closer but not really high resolution. And then I would see the shadows start applying and look proper. And then I would see tessellation pop in and the actual form of the rock wall become much better. And then a few moments later I would suddenly see the textures pop up and be high resolution again and things looked great. But by that point it was already next to me and I was flying past it. So everything behind me, 2 thumbs up, looks great. Everything in front of me, kind of hit or miss. And that was really weird to see and kind of killed the fun of it. But being able to look left and right, balance my plane's position, do a couple barrel rolls as I flip around the canyon, kind of dip up and come down, it was a lot of fun as far as a flight perspective goes. Now I've done this in the extra and it really wasn't all that fun, because the extra was just too slow and it didn't maneuver as well as I'd hoped it would for it being a stunt aircraft. But the F-22 just handled beautifully flying down that canyon at those speeds, and it was a lot of fun. I think I did it for 15-20 minutes. And then I got to a point where I'd kind of predetermined I would leave. I pulled out of the canyon and I shot over to Las Vegas. Now, Vegas itself was kind of cool and neat. Unfortunately, because the strip and everything didn't render in properly, the buildings looked like crap, and everything that was up close to the screen was out of focus, I decided it was pointless to record it, because I did not know how well this would look in the recording, and seeing how choppy everything is, it's probably for the best, because you would just get a slideshow of it. Now again, there were a few spots here as I made my approach to the Air Force Base on the other side of the strip that didn't go great for some reason. I'm not really sure why things were quite so choppy out here, but overall, the plane was fun to approach. I made a nice flight parallel to the airport, came in downwind, turned around, and then started flying back at the runway after base, making my final approach. Everything handled great. The airplane was smooth to fly in. There was a bit of a wind down here at the ground, but it was easy to counter for the most part, and I had a great landing. But I was very disappointed in the overall quality of the VR experience. In the first release, the FPS may not have been as good. I may have had some hangs where the screen blacked out, but at this point, I would prefer that because I wanted to play VR in that version. That's all I wanted to do. In this, I hate it because it takes 10 to 15 minutes to get VR set up, launched, the game loaded, set up, in a flight at an airport only to find out that the VR experience is crap again. It's just disheartening and kills all motivation because I don't have time to waste on something like that. I want to jump in and enjoy it. So there's been a couple updates since this particular flight, and I really hope they get this experience fixed because I really want to do one of those commercial flights that I've been doing in VR and actually properly fly the airplane in a little better through the VR experience where I can lean forward and make my approach from inside the cockpit, because as it stands now, I just can't do that very easily and get to view all of the equipment and things that I need. So let me know in the comments how your experience with VR in this latest update has been. Mine's been kind of crap, but anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next one.